I'm here today with Javier, who is a journalist and works at the Universidad Central. He was a former member of M19, which were combatants against the paramilitary, but he was not part of the FARC. And that's M19 is now a party, a political party. So Javi, he's written some books, and I'll put a link down below so that you can go to his, so that you can go to Amazon. I think you have a book on Amazon, don't you, in English? So Javier, I wanted to ask you, what is going on in Colombia at the moment with the COVID-19? There's a shutdown and people don't work. Colombia is not a very is not a rich country. What is going to happen to the people if they keep being put under lockdown? Are they going to start rioting? Are they going to start going crazy? And also we have a problem here with the Venezuelans. There are about 2 million Venezuelans, I think, in Bogota, and the population has a population, I think, of 8 to 9 million. So it's got an extra 20% added to its population with people that are very poor. What is going to happen if this carries on?
People has fear. All the people has fear. Only the government don't have fear. The fear of the government is economy. No more, not people. But the fear of the people is people. Now in Colombia, there are 5,000 people with coronavirus. The last actualization, but I don't think so. I think there are more than 5,000, 1,500. I don't know. I don't know what will happen, but people is afraid about present, about future, about their jobs, about their university, their studies. We don't know what will happen.
How is this going to affect people with small businesses? Do you think that it's completely changed the way that Colombia is going to work in the future, or do you think it will go back to normal when the epidemic is finished?
I ask you, what's normal? What's normality?
Well,
normality is go to be sick on the streets. Normality is the war. Normality is slavery. What is normality? I don't want to go back to normality. I want to go to a new world. I don't know if that's possible. But the last world, the normal world, I don't like it because it's ugly. In the normal world, the people is not people. People are slaves, not people.
but do you think that COVID-19 is going to create a new world for the global population?
I don't know. I hope so, but I'm not sure because, like the
Do
war,
you think Colombia will be
think
part of that new world?
I was thinking about the war and peace. The war produces the war produces the worst effects in people. I hate my enemy. I want to kill my enemy. My enemy tries to kill me. He hates me. But in the other hand, the war creates the better effects in the people because they love.
It brings out the best of people.
Yeah. Uh, I want to protect you, and if I die, it doesn't matter. I will protect you. I think with the COVID-19 is the same situation, creating the worst effects and the best effects. 2 days ago, one person in one building wrote in a door or a medical doctor, "Don't go back to this building or I'll kill your wife and children because you are a doctor." The worst of the people. And the rest, people in that building, when the doctor arrives to his home in the night, all the people was clapping and saying him, "You are welcome. We have only gratitude for you." So one person was the worst, and the rest of the people was the best. I think it's the same situation is happening in the world, not just in Bogota, not just in Colombia, in all the world. In London, in Rome, in New York, in Bora, in Rio, in Tokyo, in all the worst and the best. I hope the best will come. I hope the people change, become to the best. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if it will happen, but I hope so.
The Colombian people are resourceful. Colombian people have been poor for a long time. If they
Yep.
receive a problem with COVID-19, a famine, how will the Colombians be able to react? Will they react better than people in first world countries? Because people in first world countries are used to shopping online, they're used to appliances, they're used to rich things. When those things get taken away, they don't have an ability to survive. So Colombian people, because they've been poor for a long time, they have a much better ability to survive.
People are buying on internet. People are trying to survive, but I think in the middle time or a long time, the people will return to the countries. The country is in farms, planting food, planting new food, not industries. I think the best, the future, the economy future is agriculture, not industries. And people are, or people is seeing that, watching this present, watching this future. Because you have a car, now you don't need a car. You have all the instruments in your house, you don't need it. All that you need is food. Where is the food? On factories or in country? In country. Okay, have a farm, plant food to 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. But Colombia and all the world must think about it. The future is the agriculture, not industries. Better in Colombia, because Colombia has that past, that tradition. I think we have to return to this tradition.
Do you think that how do you think returning to a traditional farming, but also at the same time with artificial intelligence, driverless cars, genetic engineering, because you're talking about two different worlds opening up. You're talking about a world of people becoming more simple and going back to the farms, but at the same time we're seeing massive leaps in technology. Do you not think that Colombia will also follow those leaps in technology?
We need technology. All the world need technology to against coronavirus, for example, about new plants, about technology is necessary, but I think it's not the only way to go out about the crisis. Farming, I think farming is now the only way. For Colombia, what do you do with petroleum today? Nothing. Ask Vladimir Putin. Ask Donald Trump. What can you do with petroleum? Nothing. You don't need petroleum to eat. You need water and you need food. Not petroleum, not gold, not emeralds. Nothing more than food and water. And is that you can find it in the countries.
Do you think that coronavirus is teaching Colombians a different thing from it's teaching richer countries? Or do you think the lessons of coronavirus are for everybody?
I think it's the same because I was talking with my brother. My brother is a teacher in Chicago, in the United States, and a friend of mine is a teacher in Washington, D.C. It's the same. I think it's worse, but in the other hand, it's better. It's better because students are seeing the new situation, and students are in the comfort zone, going to class, drinking beer or drinking whiskey, drinking aguardiente, smoking weed. Yeah. Now they are in home. They can't do all the things, but they are seeing this. The comfort zone is not the best. They must change. I was talking about it yesterday with my students. You must change. You have a challenge in this situation. You are younger students, 19, 20, 22 years old. They must change. Your life won't be the same life in the future.
How should they change? And what are the things that are causing this change? Because in my point of view, the change is coming from artificial intelligence. It's coming from technology. Because from what I understand is that the more technology we have, the more difficult, the more control the government gets. So more technology becomes more complex. More complex means more control. So to have a complex society, you need to have more control over us. So that's what I see. I see that your freedom's going, but you're having more technology. And I see the way of the future is that people will not have privacy. What is your view of what is causing change, and what is the change in the future that these people are going to be accustomed to?
I think the future is return to the original life. The future technology is necessary, but technology is not the way. It's not the only way. Two reasons: who have money to access to technology? You have your computer, you have Wi-Fi, you have internet. I do, but a lot of people in the world don't have these possibilities. If we are condemned to live or die, to live with technology or die without technology, is that the future? Or the future is combination, a mixer of two situations. Technology is necessary, but that's not the only way. I insist, because technology is a monopolies. Ask Bill Gates. Ask, I don't know, who has the technology? All the world. Now we are in class, returning to education. How many students can't assist to virtual classes because they don't have internet, they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have computers? And there are urban students, citizen students. What about the students in countries? They don't have possibilities to access to technology. Or
So
if you do something to bring technology to all the world. But the question is, what for? What?
okay. So number one, in the videos that I've done, the
Yeah,
Korean and the Chinese governments are going to give out free technology to all the students. No student must be left behind. And so what you can say is that, okay, what are the poor people in the country going to do? Well, the government's going to give them technology, and it's going to put the 5G in so that the entire world can have its grid. That's what it's going to do.
China has money. France, England, United States, they have money. But I don't know. So many poor countries in Asia, in America, in Africa, what would they do? Most way to Donald Trump? Or I don't know.
But you know, when cars,
Musulman.
yeah, but when cars came out, not everyone had a car. When motorbikes came out, not everyone had a motorbike. When mobile telephones came out, not everyone had a mobile telephone. But now everyone's got them. You know, the majority
Yeah.
of the world has them. So this smart technology, people will have it. In the future, people will have it. I mean, in the past, people didn't have books. Smart technology is the new book. Because don't you remember, you know, people going out to like little villages and giving out books and pens. Now they're going to little villages and they're going to give out smartphones and data. Smartphone and data is the new book and pen. Because you see, if the world is going to be pushed into a technological age, then you need everybody to have those things. You need everyone to have access to the technology in order to make the technology come into the world.
How to combine technology and I'm returned to origins. How to fight against the monopolies? I think with imagination. That's not a political commentary, but one of the powers poorest countries in the world is Cuba. For 50 years, they can buy, they can sell their products. And now Cuba, with imagination, are fighting against COVID-19 with imagination. Not all the technology, not only the technology, it's imagination. How we can produce the drugs to save people. United States, England, France, German, they have a lot of money. A lot of money. China, Japan, Australia. Cuba is a poor country, and they said, we have the formula with imagination, not just technology. I think so. What's the world's purpose? Money, gold, petroleum, comfort, or survive, or food for everybody. What's the purpose of the world? Save my country? No. You don't have to save your country. You have to save the world, all the world. How? I don't know. Being a good person, choosing the right way. The right way is water, or petroleum. The right way is food or gold. I say water and food.
In order to have this water and food world that you envision, how are you going to get it? Are you going to give land to people, or are you going to ask people to buy the land? Because if they need to buy the land, then they're going to need to have gold to do it. Or are you talking about a complete restructure of world economics where we distribute land to people? Or do the people have to buy the land themselves?
The government must distribute.
Mm-hmm.
Government must distribute lands to the people. Go to plant the new kind of food, even with cows, if you want to eat meat. Cows, vegetables, I don't know, but the government must do that.
But not everybody wants to be on the farm. I mean, you have city people and you have country people. Not everyone is a country person. So what happens to the people that don't want to live in the country? What happens to the people that aren't used to the country?
We can buy their products. We need their products, but we don't need gold. We don't need petroleum. We need food. We need water. And the most people, la mayor cantidad,
The most amount of quantity of people.
exactly, the most people live in countries, in Colombia. In Colombia, okay, but they don't have land to plant. They don't have land to plant. They must work to the man who has a lot of lands, and they say no, just for trees. Food, no, I don't need it. Like Bolsonaro in Brazil, fire all the Amazons because we need lands to the coast. What is he thinking about? We need air. We need water. If Brazilian people need all the lands, is for planting, to eat. I think that the problem is the land distribution. That's the way to the future, the only way to the future, not only technology. Okay, we need technology. We need tools. That's technology, the best one or the last century tools. But we need technology to
Don't you think?
be.
Don't you think that some people are just lazy? So like some people just aren't going to plant food. I mean, it's like a romantic idea that
Yep.
If you meet a beautiful woman and you marry her, you're going to be happy. But once you've had 2 children and you see her every day, and your body's changed and you get old, the romanticism goes. So it's nice to say, yeah, every man will have his own piece of garden and he'll plant his food, and you envision everyone happy with their wives on their land planting food. But I know people that have little bits of land and they plant their food and they're not happy, and some people are lazy and some people don't want to work. So and some people, when they get their land, they'll sell their land to somebody else. And some people won't be able to have a capacity to do their land because they're ignorant. So they'll go and work for someone else. And then the people that are good at working will get more money and buy the land of the people that aren't very good at working. And you'll go back into the system all over again.
I'll answer with a question. Do you think the people in the cities is happy?
I don't think
Let
that
your farm alone
have-
and come to the city. Come to London, come to New York, come to Mexico, come to Bogota. Do you think the people in these 4 cities is happy? I don't think
no.
so. I don't think so. I was talking with a friend of with a friend of mine in Boyacá about coronavirus, about the quarantine. And he told me, I'm happy here because all day I can go out of my house, walking in the farm, seeing the trees, seeing the cows. And I said, Don Luis, would you want to come to Bogota? No, 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 no. I'm so happy here.
But people have been conditioned to live in the city. So how do you uncondition them to go and make them live in the country?
Present the best conditions in the country. Okay, I'm urban. I'm urban too. And if I go to live in the country, I need a computer, I need a cell phone, I need shoes, I need a car to go and go back. All that technology. But that's too much better there than here in the cities. So you're living in you are living outside of the city because it's better. The air is pure, water is pure, you have food, clothes, but here you can find it. You can find food even 1 block ago from my house, one block from my house. But that food came from the countries, little, medium, or large farms.
Because from what my feeling is of South America is that when people know that something has to change, nothing happens. How do you think that coronavirus is going to change education? Because all of the education has gone online. So people are now starting to do their lessons online and people are adjusting. Do you think when we go back to university, the lessons will change and the education system will be adjusted a little bit?
I think the perception of the education will change
How?
because the students and teachers saw the difference. So the world is in crisis. The world must change. What do you have to do? In the universities, in the schools, like a student, like a teacher, what do you have to do? 1 month ago, 2 months ago, people didn't think about it. Life was going like a train, just one way. Comfort zone again. It was broke by coronavirus. And I'm happy for that. I hope to survive. I want to survive. But
Give me an idea of how a student might change after coronavirus, because what I think you're saying is that the whole world is in crisis and the coronavirus showed the world, the students, that the world is in crisis, but everybody's just waiting to get back to normal. Everyone's waiting to go back.
I don't think so, Guy. I don't think so. I think the people wants to go back to their normality, but they think they see that's not normal. It must change. Nothing was normal. Nothing was good. Gold is better than human life in the normality. Dollar bills are better than human people, petroleum, etc. And my students, I was talking about with them, they said it must change. We don't know how. We don't know where to go, because the future, we must create the new future. But the future can't be the past.
What are the students? Well, if the student, the world for me is a trap. What's happened is it's like a web. You know what a web is from a spider? You know, a spider
Yeah.
web, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it makes all of these stuff, yeah. And it's a trap, okay. And it's a complex trap. And I think that the world is a complex trap. If you go left, it's a problem. If you go right, it's a problem. Up a problem, down a problem. Wherever you go, it's a problem. So you know there's a problem, but you can't see what the problem is because there are so many problems. You don't understand the one problem which is causing all the problems, which makes you go blind. So what and the other problem is that what's the students actually seeing in their houses? I mean, you know, like for instance, the students in their house are just seeing television or pornography or something, or drinking or drugs. But in the country, they're breathing
Better
the air.
pornography than television. Did you see Lenny Bruce film?
No.
Lenny, Lenny.
Yeah.
He was Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
In New York, and Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Is Lenny Bruce. He prefers see their children seeing pornography than war films.
Okay, well, I'll have to have a look at that. I'll have to have a look at Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
How do you think the behavior of the students is going to change to try to bring about a bigger change? Because from what my feeling is of South America is that when people know that something has to change, nothing happens. So why do you have faith that something now is going to change?
I saw, and students saw, the normality was not good. They must change. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know how the future will be. Only that I'm seeing is the past was worst, and the future must change. I don't know if capitalism, socialism, communism, religions, I don't know what. Maybe God will be the human being. Not God, nor Yahweh, not Muhammad. Yeah? Just the people, persons, thinking, feeling, loving, hating. The people must be recreate. The people must be. How? I repeat, I don't know.
Do you think that this?
I'm a writer.
Do you think that this has? Do you think that this has anything to do with transhumanism? Because if the future is about changing and putting in technology into our bodies to change our mind, to change education, because you know in education what they're doing, they're putting sensors onto children's heads. They're monitoring the emotions of children at the moment. They're monitoring their facial expressions. They're monitoring their blood pressure. This is what's going to happen to education. This is transhumanism. Do you think, I think that the world is preparing for a transhuman world. Do you think that that is where we're going? Do you think that we're being pushed into this direction? So what happens is that everyone says, oh, we need change, we need change, we need change. Transhumanism offers the change, and people say, we'll go for that. But really, it's a trap.
What kind of change? What kind of change?
It's more
A change that Donald Trump imagined? Change that Bill Gates imagined? Change that Guy imagined or Javier imagined? I imagine my future. You imagine your future. Every people, every person is different to the other people. Chips inside the bodies is to create what kind of people? Slaves. Just slaves. My chip is to be a leader. Your chip is to be a worker. Your chip is to be my slave. I don't like it. I want to decide how many chooses, how many ways. I will decide the right way, the wrong way. That's my decision. And I will assume the effects, the consequences. But I don't want you decide with a chip my future. I don't like it. I would prefer dying.
But the world is becoming so complex that if you don't go along with the technology, then you will be pushed out of society. Because in the more modern countries, the technology is more advanced. But in Colombia, there's too much disorder. Everybody, there's too much stealing and cheating. Do you think that they will be able to impose a chip technology more easily, or it will be more difficult in Colombia than in the United States and England? Do you think that the mentality of the people is more willing to receive this slavery or more willing to push it away? Because of the history of Colombia, it has been invaded and still is invaded by the government, because the conquistador government is the government of today. So Colombia is still under a type of slavery. So with this new chip, new technological slavery, are the Colombian people going to receive it more than the West, or they're going to fight it more than the West?
I hope Colombian people fight because they can accept, but with lies. That's the best. You will be healthy, you will be happy, you will have a car, you will have a house, you will have your food, you will be happy. Okay, put it inside my body. That's a lie. That's a lie. If you say me tomorrow or in 2 years, I want to put it chip in your body, I will say no. That's not a lie. All the Colombian people has one. Okay, good for them, not for me.